Hi, Leslie, and thank you for joining us. Can you tell us about yourself and how you became interested in the environment and climate issues?
Sure. So I am the founder of ReUseful, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But one of the things that I noticed as if I had conversations with friends, was that they were really looking for places to rehome their still good items. And, as we thought about a platform to help them do that, what became clear was that there were a lot of people who were interested in making more environmentally conscious decisions as far as, both their purchasing power and how they disposed of things they no longer needed. So, as you know, um, the decluttering movement really took off in the last few years. A lot of people have done that, and they're looking for a way to, be environmentally responsible with those items, and that really piqued my interest because while we started the project to help nonprofit organizations, it was clear how there was a true environmental intersection there as well.
So, have you always been environmentally inclined, or is it kind of in the climate crisis pulled you into that?
Yeah, I think that, as we hear more and more evidence that, our day-to-day behavior really has an impact on the environment, that's something that's become more top of mind for me. Um, I am, as most people are doing, working from home. And one of the things that I'm struggling with is I feed my 4 dogs canned dog food, and one of them is giant. And so I go through 7 cans of canned dog food every day.
Wow.
And I just got so frustrated with myself and guilt ridden about smashing those cans and putting them in the recycling bin every week. And so, right now and I'll put this out to your listeners because I'd love a collaboration. I'm looking for artists or artisans, anybody who's interested in reusing those cans, because I know that there's tons of great uses for them. I'm just not a DIYer myself. I'm not crafty. I like to fool myself sometimes and get excited and order stuff off Amazon, and then I'm like, oh, who am I kidding? There's a potential that you might hear a can getting knocked over by my dogs during this interview, but that will just reinforce the point that I'm really looking for help in reusing those. So that's one of the things I think that has really uh, been evidence of kind of that shift in my mind and how I'm thinking about the environment more lately.
Yeah. Well, tell us more about ReUseful. I mean, you've got an organization that's helping people do this. How does that work?
Yeah, so it's reuseful with 2Ls.org, and you can go there as a nonprofit and sign up and indicate what kind of used items you need. So, for instance, if you're an animal shelter, you might need blankets. If you're a domestic violence shelter, you might need clothing. There are all kinds of items that we regularly pack up and are looking for a place to rehome that nonprofit organizations could actually put to good use. So they sign up, indicate some information about themselves, including their mission, whether they have an Amazon wish list. So also for new items, the link to volunteer, the link to give cash. And then as a donor, you would go online to the site and indicate what kind of items you have. And then from there, you can see what organizations need those items, how far away they might be from you, who they serve. All those sorts of things are important to donors. So once somebody finds an organization that they think they want to give to, then it's incumbent upon them to contact the organization and make sure they do need that item at that moment, and then arrange for the donation. One of the things we are hoping to do is to help organizations get more and better quality items, because sometimes, you know, they'll get items they don't need. They'll get things that are broken or too worn to use. So, you know, we just suggest that people think about whether they would give the item to a family member or a friend.
So it sounds like, in a way, you're providing a more specialized channel than just driving up the street and dropping it off at the local thrift store.
Yeah, and then, you know, we have thrift stores that are some of our charity partners, and we, you know, we understand their role in earning money for nonprofit organizations programs that definitely benefit the community. So, you know, we certainly respect that as well. This just gives people a tool that they can use to refine their donating behavior. And, you know, if that's something that they're interested in doing, rather than, like you said, just dropping it off and, you know, knowing it's going to a good place, but at the same time, you know, if somebody really has a heart for serving a particular population, this helps them learn more about organizations in the community that maybe they didn't know about.
I think that's great. And, you know, going to the thrifts, they do serve a purpose, but I mean, we all know that a lot of stuff we drop at the thrift ends up in the landfill anyway, because it's not something they can resell. So I think the ideal thing about what you're doing is since the receiver, you know, the nonprofit saying, yes, I specifically need this,
Mm.
we as donors know that it's going to be used and not be, you know, bypassed because it's just not the right thing at the right time.
Exactly. And, you know, it's a little bit hard to wrap your head around the concept. You know, we don't warehouse anything. We don't, you know, have any kind of list of items that are needed per se. You know, we can't say it's a couch or it's a dining room table that an organization might need. It's more so, you know, general, and then again, incumbent upon that donor to make that offer. And the analogy that I use is, you know, we're like Tinder, only we don't make the dinner reservation for you.
I was curious, what brought you to the the Climate Council, Kansas City Climate Council?
Sure. So, you know, obviously there's this really strong environmental aspect to our project, and we're looking for partners in the community who have folks already involved who are environmentally conscious and, you know, eco-friendly and mindful of their own um, you know, consumer behavior. And so I think that you know, a collaboration is the perfect thing with the Climate Council, because, you know, the people who already are engaged with your group are exactly those folks who we're hoping to reach. And you know, typically when I explain ReUseful to people, at first they look a little puzzled, like, wait, doesn't that already exist? And then they think in their head, like, no, I don't, I guess it doesn't. And then they arrive at, well, that's a good idea. So I think that, you know, working with an organization that's already had such a great track record in that area is exactly the perfect fit for us.
We're happy to have you for a partner. Where do you see yourself going from here? I mean, what's the future for ReUseful?
Well, we would love to expand to other area metros. Ultimately, this is a free site. It's free for donors. It's free for nonprofit organizations, and I have a commitment to keep it that way. Um, Ultimately, what I'd love to do, if anybody's listening from United Way International, I would love to give it away to United Way International so that it could scale not only nationwide, but worldwide.
Oh, that's wonderful. Give us the website again. How can people reach you?
Sure, it's ReUseful with two L's, ReUseful.org.
Well, thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.